I've noticed that on the contemporary spiritual personal growth path, people that are into non-dogmatic religion and so forth, people that are into spirituality without religion, there's a couple main groups into which people are falling in terms of their focus these days. I'd say the first group is the creating group, people that are focused upon manifestation, empowerment, creating the kind of life that you want and that kind of thing. And there's in that group law of attraction people such as Abraham-Hicks and Tony Robbins, personal empowerment, and the secret, attracting focus kind of things. And then the second general type of group, I would say the surrendering group, people that are into being okay with whatever is, just letting things be, non-duality, just kind of allowing life to be as it is without a lot of judgment and feeling peace. So call this the allowing group. And teachers in this realm include such as Eckhart, Tolle, Pema Chodron, Chodron, Mooji, Mooji, if you want to look him up if you haven't heard of him. And I like both of these approaches, and from what I've witnessed, you can fall into suffering by trying to be a complete devotee to one or the other when your personal path requires some of the other. In other words, you can suffer by trying to be a creating kind of person and putting all of your focus on what you're creating and having some attachment to that, such as, like I watched The Secret, I read The Secret, and I still, I'm having financial troubles, I just don't get it, and I'm doing everything I know I should, and it's just I'm not getting the kind of life experience that I want, and frustration comes from that. And on the flip side, if you're in the allowing group and you're trying really hard to be like Eckhart Tolle, which looks like it would be a very peaceful experience, but you still have some things to do in the world, and you're not putting energy towards empowerment enough to have success in those realms, then that can create suffering. And you might have different life stages and different lessons that go along with those life stages. I can't recall if it was Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse or an interpretation of that book or something else, but what I got was this message of going through all the various attachments of life, the money and sex and just, worldly things, and then you can authentically enter into a place of peacefulness after having moved through attachments, as opposed to just trying to skip over these attachments. And I think that if there are people who feel like, I've had all these different worldly experiences, I've had lots of money and great sexual experiences, and I just feel disinterested in them. I don't really feel like they're rewarding, but they've had that success, they've experienced and explored that. They might be in a more authentic place where they're ready for allowing, as opposed to people who have not really, had the experiences that they're legitimately drawn to and just say, well, I'm dropping out, And there can be that craving still within one. And if that's the case, the universe will not allow you to be like Eckhart Tolle if your lessons here in the world of duality, because, this is where we live, still need to be explored. And maybe you need more self-esteem to attract the experiences that you want. Maybe you need more boundaries to eliminate negative energy in your life so that relationships or other experiences are more rewarding. Maybe you need to stop having thoughts that are negative against money in order to attract money. If you are having problems with attracting money, you might need to work on stop judging it or judging people that have it and so forth. And those are all, worldly things, but they're not necessarily bad. I mean, we, I believe, have existed in the spirit realm before manifesting here. We've known oneness. We have known connection. And here in this world, where we experience duality and separation and so forth, there are lessons that we came for. I don't think that it's simply as easy for everyone to just drop out and say, okay, I'm not really going to be attached to anything anymore, and then I'll find peace. It is a nice theory, but if it's not working, it may be because it's not the right timed lesson. There are different types of lessons that we have here. So I believe that an integration of both those groups, the creating group and the allowing group, can be integrated in a way in which we can use them to, the ideas in these different philosophies and perspectives can be utilized to attract more good experiences and experience less attachment when things aren't going our way. So there's still a duality of enjoying things that you want to enjoy. I would rather have positive, healing sexual experiences than celibacy. But if it's not happening, then I can utilize non-attachment, allowing type philosophies so that I don't add more thoughts to the situation that make it more, horrible than it really is. Cognitive psychology is really a lot of Eastern philosophy in terms of non-attachment and so forth. And I would prefer to have more income in a given month through my business than to have a mediocre or poor month, but I can also look at my attachments and not create extra suffering if things are not going the way I want them to. And I think that we can also create more growth by asking ourselves, what are my lessons from this situation that I'm in? If things are not going the way that I would prefer in the worldly material realm or whatever, why might that be? What might my karma be about? How might my choices that I'm making be re-examined and so forth? We could just, look at all forms of suffering as like, okay, this is a reason to drop out and just meditate more and just not have any attachment to how things are going. But there might be something deeper going on. It might be actually a challenge being posed to you in your life situation to improve upon situations in your surrounding environment so that you can learn about how to create a situation that you enjoy, how to create a life that you enjoy more. So instead of seeing life as just like an intense, either good or bad kind of thing, that's always fluctuating between good or bad, I think it can be shifted into more of a good or neutral kind of perspective in which you enjoy things when they're in flow and they're going your way. But if you run into some kind of blockage, then don't exacerbate it. Don't exaggerate what's going on with negative thoughts and fighting against what is and all that stuff. You can surrender to it, learn from it, understand it, and maybe positive answers will come to you as to how to handle certain situations. And eventually, at some point, and it may not be for many, many decades or century or whatever is ahead of you, it doesn't really matter how long it takes, but at some point you might just really lose interest in all duality legitimately, but you're not skipping ahead of it. You're still recognizing, if you're in your cravings and desires, that you don't have to judge them all away. You don't have to say all judgment or all desire and craving is bad. It could be that you want something because you're here to learn about it. And so to attract it and create it, you have to, understand better how to live a more positive and creative existence. But if it's not going your way, it doesn't have to be a horrible thing. So, in summary, I think that a lot of contemporary spiritual perspectives can create suffering if you believe you have to completely embrace them as the only way, as opposed to integrating and therefore seeing life as something that can still be about attracting positive experiences, but not making yourself suffer needlessly if things are not going your way.